Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. We're reaching you live from Abuja. Let's begin with aviation. Air traffic engineers from across Africa have met in Abuja to brainstorm on how to improve safety in the aviation sector as well as build capacity of its personnel. Joshua Ojito reports.
Over the years, nations of Africa are said to have horrible incidences of air crashes leading to loss of lives. This gathering of air traffic engineers from across Africa is to build capacity of personnel who links air traffic controllers with the pilots. It is a peer review session as they share experiences and strive towards ensuring safety in the airspace.
As a young engineer, I faced some of these problems working on the radar systems, and it was a forum like this that I got the solutions to the problems that we have to resolve back home. So when I got home, it was easy resolving the situation. So a meeting like this is very important and crucial for our profession.
There is also a call for licensing of air traffic safety electronics personnel (ATSEP) by the International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) in order to enhance global safety.
So the essence of this meeting will help us to make projections for the future, and we streamline on areas that we need to do more and to concentrate our energies in order that we can find improvements, because our target is zero tolerance for air accidents.
Experiences shared and deliberations generated, including communique, would be of immense impact in mapping out the way forward in all facets of air traffic safety engineering.
With the theme Aviation Safety and Licensing of ATSEP, participants are hopeful that the outcome of the regional meeting will improve air safety in the continent. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Anyway, from aviation, there must be a concrete agreement between all key players before digital switch over in the next set of states ready for migration. Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Ishak Modibo Kau, said this in an interview with Adebola Brooklyn Sunday.
So far, 6 states have migrated from analog to digital broadcasting in Nigeria. Ishak Modibo Kau said 3 states are next in line for migration.
Most recent meeting we held a couple of weeks ago with the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria, we tentatively agreed again that, okay, let us work out a new timeline to see how we can go to other locations in Nigeria. And we're looking at the possibility of going to the biggest media markets, Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt, and then a national rollout over a period of, say, 15 to 20 months.
The Director General urged signal distributors and content providers to be patient as the Commission is almost concluding plans for the timeline.
We are going to release those timelines, but we want to be sure that every component part of the process is on board. If we do not do that, you know, the movement of a group is determined by the last person actually in that train. We want to be sure that everybody is carried along in terms of their contribution to the process, in terms of what they expect as the outcome.
Year 2020 is the current deadline given by the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, for all African countries to migrate from analog to digital broadcasting. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
To other matters, conspiracy theory was the recurring phrase as NTA's Good Morning Nigeria discussed yesterday's attempted mass protest tagged Revolution Now. The discussants, including political scientists and social commentators, advised the convener to use his political platform to canvass for more support for his political aspiration in the years ahead instead of calling for revolution, Ekemini Williams reports.
You can call it conspiracy theory. I personally don't believe revolution accomplishes anything in history. American Revolution, 1735, what did it accomplish apart from bringing the idea of republicanism in bankrupted France?
That was a consensus of most discussants as Good Morning Nigeria focused on the Revolution Now march.
It was almost a total failure.
They acknowledged the constitutional rights of citizens to conduct peaceful processions, rallies and demonstrations, but considered the use of words such as revolution inappropriate.
Revolution means rebellion sociologically.
The guests also had issues with the statements attributed to convener of the Revolution Now protest, which prompted security operatives to take proactive measures to deal with the situation.
When a man speaks, you need to take his spoken words very seriously. The only reason why the police issued a statement was because we needed to advise parents and guardians to speak to their words and advise their words or restrain their words, not to be allowed to be used as tools.
It will not serve as a deterrent if Sowore remain in detention. It will serve as a deterrent if he's prosecuted. One of the things that we need to begin to do is reward and punishment mechanism.
There was also allusion to possible foreign influences with the objective of destabilizing the government.
So typically, guys just get money from somewhere, come around, create problem and run away. We are a democracy. And if anybody is dissatisfied with the government, there are legitimate and democratic way to go about it.
However, it was suggested that governments should look into any possible grievance where such is established. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
The Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria is not positioned to deal with the incidences of building collapse in the country following President Muhammadu Buhari's assent to the amended Regulatory Act. President of the Council, Ali Rabiu, said this while briefing journalists on the activities of the 28th Engineering Assembly scheduled for this month. Austin Anyebe reports.
The quality of infrastructure in any society is dependent on the professionals that handle such constructions. This is because when this infrastructure begins to fail, it becomes a challenge to the regulatory body like the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria that is now worried about the spate of building collapse in some parts of Nigeria.
We are worried, just like every other person. Fortunately, our new law has empowered us to go after quacks.
The president of the council, Ali Rabiu, noted that with the assent to the Engineers Registration Amended Act 2018, the council now has far-reaching powers of prosecution of infractions and ensuring capacity building as well as monitoring of local content in the Nigerian engineering sector. The 28th Current Engineering Assembly, scheduled to hold from 19th to 21st of this month, will feature paper presentations on the theme Strategic Alliance amongst engineering professionals for enhanced opportunities. The assembly is expected to be graced by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. I'm Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Now, the National Council on Fire and Conference of State Directors has taken off in Ilorin as part of efforts at strengthening delivery in the fire service. The 5-day annual conference, which is the 10th, has as its theme technology, an imperative for enhanced service delivery in the fire sector. Correspondent Kemi Bisisoni has details.
The ever-evolving and increasing threats to lives, property and the environment have continued to expand the workload and strain the capacity of the fire service officials in Nigeria, as their schedule is no longer restricted to responding to fires in building alone, but now includes responding to incidents of collapsed buildings and flood disasters. Stakeholders said while victims trapped under collapsed buildings may be faced with imminent death if there is no equipment to locate and rescue them early, and many lives, they said, will be lost in flood disasters without appropriate means to reach and extricate them early. the National Council on Fire converged to productively deliberate on ways in which technology can enhance fire and other disaster safety delivery in Nigeria.
Now, if you see what is happening in developed countries, it's not happening here. But with the coming of His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, we are able to take some equipment.
Kwara State government will join Mr. President's flight to the next level and we attend to the remaining requests one after the other in due course.
Kemi Bisisoni, NTA News.
Lagos State Government deploys technology for road safety. Details of this and more with Hingino in the mega city. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Air Force will continue to place premium on human capacity development for enhanced professional performance. This was at a workshop for teachers and supervisors of the Nigerian Air Force primary and secondary schools nationwide held in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports.
Education is the bedrock of any developing country and therefore requires concerted efforts by all. It is in this regard that the Nigerian Air Force is repositioning in tune with the global best practices for effective teaching and learning in all Nigerian Air Force schools. This workshop is designed to integrate modern technology into the teaching and learning process.
ICT is very important in these present days, and I believe it's now to improve on it, and so that we will now go back to equip our children perfectly.
In his message to the event, the Chief of the Air Staff reiterated the resolve of the Air Force to keep pace with evolving best practices in the education sector.
We know the benefits of training our teachers. You know that the Nigerian Air Force schools, are first place in this country in terms of both internal and external examinations, and even with foreign competitions. If we want to sustain that place, then we must promote the use of technology in our teachers.
We are hoping that at the end of this training program, there will be performance improvement, and we'll continue to develop the nation's indigenous human resource together.
In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
Food scientists and other key players in food processing and manufacturing are suggesting the inclusion of research into the nation's educational system. This, they believe, will help in addressing the challenges in the industry. Let's join Paul Omokago, who is standing by with details.
Research collaboration and industry linkages, a sustainable partnership, is the reason why food scientists and technologists are gathered in this hall. They are trying to find out the way forward and how to improve the food manufacturing industry.
We just have to come together to develop the value chain in order to create the necessary food security we are talking of, but more important, to alleviate poverty and create wealth in our country.
We've noticed over the years that that collaboration has not been there, and we will ensure that we bring these two groups together.
As much as we would like to diversify our economy, research needs to be developed in the academia, and as well as collaborating with the industry to maximize the collaboration for the benefits of Nigerians.
If the industries have access and they to research results, the research will ensure what they come out with is of the highest quality.
Experts are of the opinion that there is need for research findings to be made available to the various food manufacturing companies we have in the country. Over to you, Ingino.
Thank you, Paul. In a bid to guarantee safety on roads in Lagos State, the state government has resolved to deploy an advanced technology to enhance compliance and safety. The permanent secretary of the state's Ministry of Transport made this known at a press conference held at the Bagauda Kaltho Press Center in Alausa to flag off the 2019 Road Safety Campaign Week. Nusa Usla reports.
The permanent secretary of the State's Ministry of Transport lamented that human errors were considered the major contributing factors to road accidents and fatalities, and this is as a result of overspeeding, reckless and distracted driving, and other habits that negate the principles of safe driving.
The state government has employed technology in line with world-based practices. Education of new mode of enforcement in the state through an equipment known as ANPR, that is automatic number plate recognition. The importance of pre-registration of inspection. Establishment of computerized vehicle inspection services, that's the LAGVIS centers, all over the state now, that we have got 19 and we are building more.
The director of the state's Vehicle Inspection Service assured residents that the state government is committed to serving them by delivering efficient and automated service that would ensure safe road transportation that meets global standards.
When you look at section 23 of the transport sector law, you can present your case. We will see together, we will educate you. That's why if you don't want to pay, you can even challenge the fine. You can go to mobile court. We have mobile court. Once you come, we arrange mobile court for you.
The theme of the safety campaign is employing technology to enhance compliance and safety on our roads. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after this commercial break.
Listen to the voice of terror.
Kana ganin maulidi inna idan maulidi ya dinka miliyoyi suka darka ko da tun daga tudun tsaunin aso ka hango milamilai aka ce menene aka ce duk mutane ne me suka zo zama maulidi amma gashi nan suna zuwa inda helicopter ya ka gani malam sai na dagawa mai yiwa mutum ya ce to wato ku ashe kuna taron maulidin da wata manufa ne sai mu ce din da wata manufa ne in har muka tattara mutane da sunan annabi muka kwace gwamnati muka mai sheta ta annabi mun bi sunnan wane sunnan annabi to wannan wani misali ne wanda revolution din Imam Khomeini ya nuna mu mutane cewa fawa yana hannun mutane ne ba yana hannun azzalumai bane.
Protocol and event management are special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College JOS is organizing a special 2-week course on protocol, event management, and public relations to upgrade the capacities of practitioners. The course will equip participants with modern skills, techniques, and international best practices in protocol, event management, and public relations. Also, a special 4-week intensive course on non-linear editing techniques will run concurrently. The course will expose participants to modern techniques and technologies of non-linear editing. Take advantage of this course to hone your professional skills for premium packaging of your programs and reports. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA Television College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State. Date 19th to 30th August 2019 for the course on protocol, event management, and public relations. 19th August to 13th September 2019 for basic non-linear editing techniques. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College JOS, training you to be the best you want to be.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to issues of concern. Following efforts by the federal government in sustaining availability of petroleum products nationwide, motorists in Uyo are appealing to owners of fuel stations to reciprocate the gesture by stopping all forms of illegality in their outlets. Kelvin Samuel completes the story.
Motorists are appreciative of the sustained availability of petroleum products as against the era of product scarcity. They lauded the federal government for constant supply of products, which has boosted socio-economic activities across the country. They, however, called the attention of the government towards the activities of some marketers who engage in pump manipulation, says of adulterated product and those selling above government-approved pump price.
If you buy fuel, if you do not put treatment, your carburetor will develop problem because it's from should be adulterated, and this pump is rampant around here. So I don't know if government can, maybe look into it seriously.
In reaction to this development, the Department of Petroleum Resources say the illegality of marketers will be closely monitored and the fault has made to face the law.
They expect the marketers to do their documentations properly.
According to DPR operatives, 8 filling stations have been sealed in Uyo metropolis for illegality. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
Still on issues of concern, Nigerian Customs Service Zone B Command Kaduna has intercepted contraband items worth over 1 billion naira, Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports.
In spite of efforts by the Nigerian Customs Service to curb smuggling, the perpetrators have always devised ways of importing prohibited goods into the country. This seizure by the Nigerian Customs Service, containing more than 5,000 parboiled bags of rice being smuggled into the country through Kogi and Kaduna states, remains one of the largest since the beginning of the year.
The foreign parboiled rice we were able to intercept or seize from January to June this year is about 8,647 bags of 50 kg. If you compare to last year of about 7,400 and something, the duty paid value of all these things we have arrested this year is about 1,050,000 naira.
About 2,000 bales of second-hand clothes, vegetable oil and different brands of vehicles were also among the seizures made by the command. In Kaduna, Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Let's now beam our searchlight on religion. Authorities in Saudi Arabia are putting finishing touches at various locations designated by Prophet Muhammad for the conduct of Hajj rites by pilgrims. Lami Ali reports from the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia.
Located 2 kilometers away from the holy city of Mecca, the sites where all pilgrims will converge to perform parts of the Hajj rites include Muna, Arafat and Muzdalifah. Information made available by the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah indicates that 46,000 personnel from across agencies of government have been drafted to provide pilgrims with best of services in order to perform the religious rites in ease. Officials from relevant establishments in Saudi Arabia have also been holding meetings with representatives of Hajj commissions of participating countries, including Nigeria, for briefings on new measures adopted for crowd control.
They have very serious concern about Nigeria because Nigeria in this Africa non-Arab establishment constitute like 1/3 of the whole population. So they are very, very concerned. In fact, not just the establishment, the whole ministry, the whole organ of organizers of the Hajj are concerned and are very, very particular about Nigeria.
Meanwhile, more pilgrims are arriving in Mecca to perform Umrah preparatory to the commencement of Hajj. In Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And we're not done with religion yet. A week-long International Women's Prayer and Leadership Conference of willing women worldwide, cutting across different denominations from 35 nations, is holding in Rivers State. The program is anchored on the theme, Prepare Ye the Way of the Lord. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The week-long program, the 19th in the series of conferences over the years, also marks the group's 21st anniversary. Women drawn from 35 countries across 6 continents gather to praise God while also interceding for families, the church and the nations. Key in the minds of the organizers include the need to inculcate in the participants godly values towards influencing the leadership of their nations.
When women gather to pray and they ask God for certain things, God answers.
Professor Vincent Anibogu, in his message titled Prepare Ye the Way of the Lord, advanced the essence of character and value re-evaluation to enjoy God's glory. A number of the participants are coming to Nigeria for the first time with hopes that the lessons from the conference will help their nations overcome the challenges of nationhood.
It's my first time coming here. I wanted to come to Africa. I knew that God would show up and do something great.
Mover de Deus.
I feel the move of God.
É tremendo.
It's too much here.
To all of you who have brought in this message to enthrone peace and the prosperity here. So we are so happy.
The conference will feature workshops, free medical outreach, drama and documentary series on the group's successes so far. From Abara, Echie local government area, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And away from religion, no fewer than 3,000 internally displaced persons from 3 local government areas of Katsina State received assistance of foodstuff donated by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs. The local government areas are Safana, Faskari and Katsina. Awal Halu has details.
Flagging off of the presentation, the Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons, Sadia Umar Farouk, said the gesture was to provide succor to the affected people of the recent banditry attacks to cushion the effect of what they are going through.
These items, once distributed, they will be used judiciously because it's not meant for these items to go to the market. It's meant for the victims to utilize it to support their families.
While receiving the items for onward distribution to the remaining displaced persons, the State Deputy Governor Maniri Yakubu said the assistance will go a long way in alleviating the sufferings of the victims.
There is already a standing committee that we have formed to ensure that these items that have been received from the government or from any other donor has been given to the proper people and they are fully utilized.
Some of the beneficiaries expressed appreciation to the federal government for the relief assistance. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Time now to link up with Kemi in Ibadan for more reports. Hello, Kemi.
Elizabeth, and welcome to Ibadan. For agricultural investments to be sustained in Nigeria, farmers need to subscribe to agricultural insurance scheme. This was the opinion of stakeholders at the Agricultural Insurance Workshop for Farmers in Southwest, organized by House Committee on Agriculture, held in Ibadan.
Expanding the frontiers of agricultural practice for the nation to be self-reliant in food production is one of the agenda of the current government. But in view of the fact that farming is practiced under unpredictable environment, subscribing to agricultural insurance is of utmost importance. The Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, in conjunction with House of Representatives Committee on Agriculture, brought together farmers in Southwest for sensitization on the benefits of agricultural insurance.
It is very important that our farmers know that without insurance, it is as if the farmers are committing suicide, because that is the backbone of any investment.
Farmers expressed delight that the workshop has helped in changing misconception on insurance scheme.
A lot of education we derived from the training from NAIC, which completely we are ignorant of.
We are going home to download the information to other farmers, and it's going to improve our life, because many of us have been incurring losses. We don't know how to go about it.
They can still do better, especially in the areas of getting outside the state capital.
The workshop provided opportunities for farmers to ask questions bordering on the operation of insurance corporation in Ibadan. Dayo Gunsola, NTA News.
Osun State Government has renovated and equipped 11 fire service stations across the state for prompt and efficient response to emergency fire outbreaks. Governor Gboyega Oyetola stated these at the inauguration of Ejigbo and Ede fire stations. Femi Afari-Ogun reports.
The story of fire service has changed in Osun State from that of dilapidated structures and obsolete tools, with the approach Governor Gboyega Oyetola is giving with renovation of 11 fire service stations across the state and equipping them with modern equipment and fire kits that will give confidence to firefighters to face any outbreak in the state. This is the inauguration of Ejigbo Fire Station, and the governor is promising to employ more personnel to achieve efficient service delivery.
Fire prevention and fighting are service in the interest of humanity. The fire service unit must therefore deliver service with utmost efficiency and a high sense of responsibility. Like the Boy Scouts motto says, they must be prepared at all times.
The people, including the traditional head of Ejigbo, are happy with the new fire station. A similar station was commissioned at Ede, where the governor appealed to the people to protect fire service equipment in their domain to prevent vandalism and destruction. The total cost of the project is put at over 300 million naira. Femi Afari-Ogun, NTA News.
The 6th round of house-to-house immunization week for the eradication of childhood killer diseases, poliovirus, has commenced in Kwara State. The exercise tagged Outbreak Response Activities was in response to the polio outbreak detected in Kwara State early this year. Kemi Bisisoni has details.
Following the detection of white polio virus in parts of Kwara State, the State Primary Health Care Agency has held multiple vaccination campaigns to raise population immunity and to prevent the spread of the virus. It would be recalled that in January 2019, cases of circulating vaccine-derived polio virus type 2 was reported in Barutin and 2 other local government areas of the state, which rendered 8 children paralyzed and 1 dead.
Meanwhile, there's no overdosage of it. That's one. Number 2 is free. Number 3 is safe. All the children that are affected, they didn't take the immunization. Some of them took some, they didn't complete.
She said the solution to all childhood killer diseases is to immunize every child several times with injectable and oral vaccines, while appealing to caregivers, parents, and all people to comply during the vaccination exercise, as all childhood killer diseases are vaccine preventable. Kemi Bisisoni, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Elizabeth, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Kemi. Still on health, more than 5,700 indigent persons from a rural community in Umuahia North local government area of Abia State received free medical treatment for various chronic diseases, courtesy of the Konak Foundation in conjunction with Faith Care International, a non-governmental organization. Dennis Temple reports that the medical bills of about 37 patients who were admitted at the Federal Medical Center, Umuahia, were also settled.
Most of the patients who were discharged from the hospital were persons who survived different kinds of chronic diseases and some accident victims but were unable to pay their hospital bills. They now count their gains.
I thank all of you. May God bless all of you in Jesus' name.
The medical director of the Federal Medical Center, Umuahia, Dr. Azubike Oneuchi, as well as the benefactor, urged government to establish community-based insurance scheme to enable indigent persons receive adequate healthcare services.
To also plead with our government to make sure that we have community-based insurance.
Our joy was fulfilled when we saw people receiving hope again.
And I would consider our mission to be successful.
The medical bills paid is sequel to 1 week free medical outreach by a non-governmental organization where over 5,700 persons received free treatment, out of which 246 were operated upon. In Umuahia, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
And for Nigeria to improve the Human Development Index and become one of the biggest economies in the world, challenges facing the North must be addressed, especially with regards to child welfare. This is the view of stakeholders in Kano at the Social Policy Workshop organized for commissioners and permanent secretaries of the 19 northern states. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
One of the problems confronting 19 northern states is the burden of out-of-school children and social inclusion, a phenomenon that needs urgent attention, though the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has taken systematic intervention to improve on Human Development Index. This meeting brought together commissioners and permanent secretaries from the Ministry of Budget and Planning to share experiences and fortunate ways of strengthening state capacity to ensure sustainability for child welfare.
For those children who are out of school, so they enable them to have access to education wherever they are. So all the barriers that exist today, whether it's about distance to school.
Other stakeholders believe that Nigeria can get it right with the support of development partners, especially in the areas of health, education, water and sanitation.
To develop a child means to develop a nation. So my take home is to make sure, take decisions, suggest ways of improving child development for our own state.
These are the lessons that we will definitely take home and then see where we can improve with regard to our own that we are currently undertaking.
At the end of the advocacy workshop, it is expected that sustainable inclusive growth of Nigerian child will be achieved through social policy. Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Let's now talk education. The dream of most students is to one day become an expert in their different fields of endeavor, hopefully after going through university and other higher institutions. This notion is not an exception for some students from the Abuja Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, when they paid a visit to the Nigerian Television Authority headquarters in Abuja. Ruth Aguele reports.
As Africa's largest television network, NTA is known to not only build its capacity for better coverage, but also always ready to inspire younger minds who someday find themselves in the field of broadcasting or related fields. These young brilliant minds are from the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, from the Department of Industrial Design. Their visit to NTA is to get a practical and deeper knowledge of what they are taught in school. The Assistant Director of News Repertorial, Mohammed Ali, is their tour guide around the different units of the organization. Their first point of call was the network newsroom, where they were taken through the rigorous process of production.
Every punctuation requires an action. If that is a comma, you have to breathe. If that is a full stop, you have to stop. So that action of stopping takes a particular time.
Their area of interest, which is their course of study, graphics design, was also another point of call. Jira Joseph is a 500-level student of industrial design. After school, she hopes to go into printing with specialization on graphics.
Before it was still graphics and printing I mostly do, but
coming here, it has expanded my knowledge.
Most of the theoretical things that I was taught in school, thank God I see them here in practical.
And we've been able to come and see, and also they help us demonstrate some of those things.
They say knowledge gained is knowledge shared. These students hope to share the experience with their coursemates when they go back to school. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Glad to know you're still there. The Ogun State government has warned that it will not hesitate to destroy any property used by criminals for their heinous acts and also arrest owners of such properties for proper prosecution. The governor, Prince Dakpo Abiodun, stated this at a press briefing on the activities of kidnappers and successes recorded so far. Correspondent Lukman Adefeso reports.
For the past 2 weeks, kidnappers have been terrorizing residents of Ogun State, taking captive about 13 people. This made the State Police Command swing into action, rescuing the victims unhurt. Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dakpo Abiodun, while briefing the media, assured that all necessary support will be provided for security agencies to secure every part of the state. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari for measures put in place to assist men of the Nigerian police in the rescue mission.
Let me use this opportunity to sound this very strong note of warning to our landlords and any property owners that any property or facility found to be serving as hideouts to criminals will not only be taken over, but we will demolish them. The landlords will also be arrested and handed over for prosecution for harboring criminals. We will consider and treat them as accomplices.
The Commissioner of Police, Bashir Makama, speaks on the arrests made so far.
Suspects are arrested and they are being investigated. Details will be made known to you as soon as it is over.
Meanwhile, the state government has ordered the immediate clearing of bushes around Shagamu or a road at least 25 meters.
And our next stop is Sokoto, and Musa Abubakar is our guide. It's nice to see you, Musa.
Welcome to Sokoto.
Zamfara State Police Command says it will not condone any act of sabotage to the ongoing dialogue aimed at achieving a lasting peace in all parts of the state. The State Commissioner of Police, Usman Nagogo, gave the warning while interacting with leaders of Fulani and Vigilante in Safi Emirate. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
Zamfara State Commissioner of Police Usman Nagogo, alongside members of his team, was in Safi local government area in continuation of his tour of all the 17 emirates in the state to meet with the leaders of the warring parties at the grassroots level for the perfection of the ongoing peace initiative. The police commissioner interacted with the leaders of the repentant Fulani bandits and those of the vigilante groups in the area at the Emir's Palace, Safi. Leaders of the warring parties who took turn to express their solidarity to the peace initiative recounted with regret the devastating effect the insecurity had on the socio-economic development of the area over the years. The Fulani leaders, however, alleged that some members of the vigilante groups in connivance with security operatives in the area are still persecuting the Fulanis, saying the trend is inimical to the tenets of the peace initiative.
We have identified the areas, which is the most important, and we have identified the culprits. By the time I go back to the office, we'll go back to the drawing board. Nobody is above the law. Nobody can venture to act as an impediment to peace in this state. So we'll go after them, to arrest them.
This thing has not been done for quite a long time. We are grateful for anybody who mutes the idea of the CP to conduct this exercise.
Some of the major resolutions reached at the meeting include immediate release of all those in captivity across the area, allowing Fulanis to move freely, and for the farmers to cultivate their farmlands in all parts of the emirate. It is generally observed that the peace initiative is actually working. This is clear manifestation of the restoration of a relative peace in almost all parts of Zamfara state, as farming activities are picking up. From Gidando village in Safi local government area of Zamfara state, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State has lauded President Muhammadu Buhari's agricultural policies despite challenges and calls for more intervention to attain national food security and sufficiency. Osman Abdullahi Shehu reports that Governor Bagudu made the call while flagging off 2019 wet season national migratory pest control in Birnin Kebbi.
Migratory pests that include quilla beds, grasshoppers, and locusts continue to pose serious threats to cereal crop production in some part of this country, considering the destructive effort of the pests on cereal production. The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, restated commitment to control the menace of the migratory pest in 12 frontline states in this year's wet season. These states are Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, and Zamfara states. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu commended President Muhammadu Buhari's agricultural policies, pointed out that food production has remained strong in the last 3 years in the country.
Even the shortages or the lost production, rather, caused by conflict elsewhere have not reduced the quantum of food that Nigeria is producing, which is reflected in food availability, stable, some may even say falling prices, but stable prices. We also want the government to follow through and intervene more.
The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Muhammad Bello Umar, who confirmed the presence of migratory quilla beds in the country, added that over the years, targeted aerial and ground control operations have been in place against the pest.
The present administration of our own President Muhammad Buhari is very determined to fight any menace that will mitigate against the lofty ideals of ensuring food security and poverty alleviation in our country.
In Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Well, that's our contribution from Sokoto. Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Musa. Now to business. The Africa Development Bank, AFDB, is expediting an investment drive into the special agro-processing zones in Nigeria to exploit the full potential of the agriculture sector. At a forum with Chinese investors in Abuja, AFDB's country director said it was an effort in line with Nigeria's quest to attain self-sufficiency and reduce poverty. Leah Kachung Babatunde tells us more.
The African Development Bank is providing a veritable platform for investment in technology on one hand to cross-fertilize with available market space on the other hand, leveraging on available human resources. But the big question is, why China?
30 years ago, people didn't have cars in China, household, 35 years ago. But in a very short time, this country has transformed itself, has become a global player, and has actually lifted over 500 million people out of poverty.
This forum is in line with the AFDB's country strategic paper in Nigeria to support development of sound policy and social inclusion and support infrastructure. Out of the $5 billion active portfolio of the bank in the country, only 8% is in agriculture, propelling this private sector investment drive. The Chinese growth experience is one the AFDB and Nigeria is seeking to infuse in the industry to enhance food security.
Over the next 5 years, which is a level of investment of close to $6 billion across the board. In agriculture, I think we expect that over the next 5 years, we should be able to invest close to $1 billion.
A lot of very interested partners in China, and including the very large-scale companies and also some middle-sized companies, because of the advantages of the African continent. I'm sure there are more and more investors coming.
This process is aimed at removing barriers and granting potential investors access to the special agro-industrial processing zones that have started taking shape across the country following the federal government's agriculture advancement policy. In Abuja, Leah Kating Baba today, NTA News.
Away from business, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Shegun Nshawe, has thrown his weight behind the Lagos State government's decision to fish out the people behind the Lekki public naked dance, saying the show negates the beauty of Nigerian culture and way of life. The Director General, who has zero tolerance for attitudes and culture unbecoming of well-brought-up young Nigerians, in a statement described the Lekki public show as unacceptable and sin against Nigerian culture, which must be condemned and rejected by Nigerians from all walks of life. It further states that the NCAC boss has also sent a strong message to the state governors to create and empower agencies and departments of culture to arrest the organized assault against established and respected Nigerian way of life, adding that Nigerians must resist vigorously attempts to insult Nigerian women. And out to sports. The Imo State Governor, Emeka Ihedioha, has pledged full support to Heartland Football Club of Owerri towards enhancing their performance in the Nigerian Professional Football League. The governor made the promise while receiving the new coach of the club, Fidelis Ilechukwu, at the government house. Loretta Arinze Egwim reports.
Ihedioha, who promised to give necessary support to ensure the success of the new coach, described Imo as a sport-loving state. He regretted that the football club has over the years slumped in national ranking and asked the new coach to instill discipline and sanity in the football club to enable them make remarkable progress.
We've taken positive steps to rehabilitate and renovate the Dananyam Stadium, which primarily hosts competitions.
The board chairman, Heartland Football Club, Charles Ezekwem, who had earlier unveiled the new coach to the governor, said Mr. Ilechukwu was chosen based on his antecedent as the former coach of Mountain on Fire Ministry Football Club. He stressed that their target is to go for continental competition next season and also remain self-sufficient in terms of funding. Heartland Football Club was established in 1976. In Owerri, Loretta Arinze Egwim, NTA News.
And still talking sports, a 5-man inspection team from World Football Governing Body FIFA begins in Lagos State for a 4-day inspection of facilities and equipment on the proposed hosting of the 10th FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Championship by Nigeria in 2020. Olumide Eguntola has details.